Hey guys, how's it going? Dave here. Welcome back to Drinks with Dave. Now that it's spring, the weather's starting to warm up a little bit, and something that comes to mind is one of my favorite spirits, Cachaça. So I've got this bottle of Cachaça right here, and you might be wondering, well, what are you gonna do with it? And to that I will answer, we're going to make 5 cocktails, but we're not going to make a caipirinha. A lot of the time when people drink Cachaça, that's what they're thinking is caipirinhas, and caipirinhas are great drinks. But there are a lot of drinks that you can make with Cachaça. I think out of the 5 drinks I'm gonna make today, there's something for everybody's palate, and if not, you can always let me know what you like down in the comments below. Anyway, we don't have a lot of time, and we do have to get these drinks done, so let's go ahead and get started. And drink number 1 is the Rabo de Galo. If the caipirinha is the #1 drink in Brazil, then I feel like this drink is probably a close second. I mean, at least it is in my book. And the drink actually dates back to the 50s, I think, when a vermouth producer came up with some sort of scheme to try and get people to drink their products. So they actually came out with a recipe and even a glass, from what I understand, that showed which ingredients to use and convinced people to mix Cachaça with the vermouth. And this is kind of how this drink was born. We don't have a lot of time to get into the deep history today, so let's just go ahead and get started making the first drink. So first thing is we start with our mixing glass. And to that we're gonna add 1.5 ounces of our Cachaça, 1/2 ounce of sweet vermouth, and 1/4 ounce of amaro. I'm using Cynar because Cynar is extremely popular in Brazil. Then to the mixing glass we'll add ice and give it a quick stir. I'm gonna stir for a while since I'm not using very wet ice. Now grab an ice cold lowball glass, fill it with ice, strain off the cocktail, grab a lime peel, express some oil over the rim and the glass, and drop it in for a garnish. And that is a Rabo de Galo. The Cachaça is the hero in this for sure. The sweetness and the fruitiness of the vermouth are perfectly balanced with that bitter edge that the Cynar has. I think that this is a perfect spirit for a drink for a hot day. Let's get on to the next drink. Drink number 2, the Edison's Medicine. And this particular drink actually uses fresh basil and agave, which are 2 of my favorite ingredients to work with. I do know it was created in 2011 by a bartender named Pete Gugni, and I hope I pronounced that right. Pete, if you're watching, that's the best I could do, man. The drink is great. Let's go ahead and make the Edison's Medicine. This drink is gonna be shaken. We're gonna start with our shaker tin. Then we're going to add 1.5 ounces of our Cachaça, 1/2 ounce of yellow chartreuse, 3/4 ounce of fresh lime juice, and then add 1/2 ounce of agave, and grab some fresh basil, and add 6 leaves to the shaker tin. Then we're gonna add our ice and give it a nice shake for about 20 to 30 seconds. Then grab a chilled stem glass of your choice and double strain off the cocktail. Grab 1 more basil leaf, give it a nice smack, and garnish the cocktail. I just love drinks that have fresh basil in them. I don't know why. It goes with so many things. This is surprising. This is the first time I've had a drink that had fresh basil with Cachaça. And not surprisingly, it's amazing. I think the basil and the chartreuse work perfectly together, but they don't overpower the Cachaça. All in all, perfect drink for a warm day, screams fresh. Let's go ahead and move on to drink number 3, the Batida Rosa. All right, so we've got a spirit-forward cocktail with the first one. The second one was sort of fresh and herbaceous, and this third one is a little bit more on the sweet, sort of tropical side. So I didn't think that this list would really be complete unless we, hit all the things people drink. Some people like those kinds of drinks. So let's go ahead and get started making that. Start with your mixing tin, then add 2 ounces of Cachaça, then add 1 ounce of pineapple juice, 1 ounce of lemon juice, 3/4 ounce of grenadine, and you can find this recipe in my syrups video that I have posted above. Add our ice to the shaker tin, give it a solid shake for about 20 seconds, grab a Collins glass, and to that we're going to add our ice and then strain off the cocktail, and we're gonna top the cocktail off with soda water. Kinda wanna do this a little slowly so it doesn't overflow on you. And we will garnish with a little fresh pineapple. And there you go, that is a Batida Rosa. I thought it was gonna be a little too sweet, but we did use the real pomegranate grenadine, which is probably why it's not as pink as the name Rosa might lead you to believe. It kind of feels tropical. I mean, it does have the pineapple in there. The bubbles give it that light, airy vibe, and I'm enjoying it now. Let's get to the next drink. Drink number 4, the Caneflower. Okay, so the Caneflower is another spirit-forward cocktail made with cachaça, and it was a playful riff on another cocktail called the Conte Syrah, which is effectively a Negroni that uses elderflower to sweeten it. So this one has cachaça with elderflower and a little bit of bitter orange aperitif. So kind of like a Negroni, but no gin, and it has elderflower, so not really a Negroni at all. Okay, so this is another spirit-forward cocktail, so we're gonna start out with our mixing glass and begin with 1.5 ounces of cachaça, 3/4 of an ounce of Aperol, bitter orange aperitif. And to balance out the bitterness, we're gonna use 1/2 ounce of Saint Germain and ice it up because we need something to dilute it with. Sometimes you make a mistake. And then we're gonna stir it for at least 30 seconds or until it's properly diluted. Then in a chilled coupe, go ahead and strain off the contents. Aaron says that one's pretty. Express lemon oil, and I like to garnish with the lemon peel. And that is the Caneflower. I'm a sucker for elderflower. I just like the smell of this cocktail, honestly. The elderflower and the bitter orange. The cachaça is not lost in it, but I just really like those two components together. Just that little bit of lemon oil on top is absolutely perfect. It brightens it up. This is my kind of drink for sure. And speaking of drinks, let's move on to the very last one. Drink number 5, the Macunaima. Okay, so this last drink is pretty interesting in that it was almost named something completely different. So the bartender who created it actually wanted to name it after something called a carixola. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. And those are the little noisemakers that people would bring to soccer games. Unfortunately, those particular noisemakers were banned. So instead of naming the drink after the little noisemaker that never took off, the creator of the drink decided to name it after a book written in 1928, which is considered to be one of the founding pieces of Brazilian modernism. So that's kind of an interesting fact. I've never read the book, Macunaima, but if you can read it, give it a shot, I guess. I don't know. To make the Macunaima, we are going to start with our mixing tin, then add 1 3/4 ounce of cachaça, 3/4 ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice, 1/2 ounce of rich demerara, this is 2-to-1 sugar to water, and 1/4 ounce of Fernet Branca. Add our ice to the mixing tin and shake it like you were meant to for about 20 to 30 seconds. Make sure your vessel is nice and chilled and strain it into the chilled vessel without any ice. I might have used too big of a glass, but that's better than too small. I actually like it with diamonds, like little chunks of the ice. No garnish, and this is meant to be enjoyed just as it is. This drink has a very strong, sour sort of vibe to it, because basically it is a sour. You almost get like this fruity, almost like banana aspect from this, which is interesting. It's not what it tastes like, it just smells a little bit like banana. And it's simple. I mean, this is simple. There's no ice added to it. Make sure it's nice and chilled, and I think you're good to go. All right, those are my 5 drinks that are made with cachaça, and they are not caipirinhas. I mean, there's other things we could have done, but these are what I picked. If you decide to get a bottle of cachaça and make a drink at home, and you want to try something that isn't a caipirinha, I highly recommend trying one of these drinks right here. And if you do, go ahead and let me know how it turns out in the comments below. Or if you have your own variation. I'm always, excited to hear what people like. Until next time, cheers.